Hello YouTube, this is Damien Torres. Welcome back to BreakIN. This is episode 23, technically 24 as Ernesto had to take a break this week because he had to meet a very tight deadline. He will be back very shortly. Going to try to keep it short today as I also have to get back to some work. First things first, some updates. Still waiting to hear back on the layouts I had mentioned a couple weeks ago. So far, as I said, the guy that I've been talking to is very busy with conventions and press and whatever else. So hopefully I'll hear something very soon. Um, once again, I feel like I keep repeating myself, but once I do, I'll be sure to update you guys on it. So I'm continuing working on the Hobbit cards. I've got about maybe 6 cards left to complete. They will be completed by the time I return the following week. So I'm looking forward to completing that. Got a couple more commissions done. Still got a couple more to go. So I'm going to be cranking away at those as soon as I can. Last week I had mentioned a fantasy publication that reached out to me to see if I could contribute a piece to the magazine. I accepted it and I did it. Completed it within a week. Got paid. The person in charge is really professional, easily communicable, and hopefully I get to contribute some more work to future editions of this publication. Once I get more information on when it will be published, I'll be sure to update everybody on that. Still managing to sketch every day, and I'm noticing a lot of improvement in terms of drawing and speed. I'm trying out a lot of different angles and shots, and trying to see how much I could do without having to resort to reference. Um, and I'm learning a lot from this. I'm learning and studying more anatomy and seeing like what works and what doesn't. Um, Certain things are starting to click, and I'm giving myself like a lot of time with these sketches. I'm not trying to work on these things for more than an hour, and I'm seeing that I'm able to get a lot done within such a short time. I've been trying to, like, at first it was like just a sketch a day, and now I'm doing a couple more sketches within that time period. Um, at least 1 or 2 characters a day, but I'm also doing things like perspective studies, which I'll share those on all my social media sites once I compile some more. As I mentioned in the last video, I'm doing these things mostly to get faster, especially for shows and conventions and the like. But now I'm getting really anxious to start on some more sample pages again. I figure if I'm doing these things like on 8.5 by 11 copy paper, a lot of these panels on 11 by 17, they're pretty small. So being able to get a lot of these sketches done within a short time period and loosening up and helping me catch more of an eye for these kind of, like, I guess, errors and, again, like I said before, whatever works. Hopefully that same kind of energy and education I'm getting out of it, I can apply to getting back to work on narrative pages. So last Saturday at the Spider's Web, the local comic shop in Yonkers, we had a really special guest there, Mark Teixeira, who has worked in the industry for over 30 years. He's done work for Marvel, DC, Dynamite, whatever, you name it. He's mostly known for Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Vampirella, Sabretooth. It was really cool to meet him. I never met him before, and he's always been at the conventions I usually go to. I just never had a chance to actually meet him. So it was cool, to meet him at the local comic shop. And seeing him communicate with other people and sketch for people and do commissions. Very, very fast, very precise with his work, and very humble too. He made time to talk to everybody. He made time to take photos with everybody. He even left behind some signed copies of whatever comics the store had before he left. So, like, whatever he did like a quick signature and a head sketch on each comic, and it was cool, because people who missed it, and if there's still copies available, they could come in and get those and get a free head sketch and a free, signed comic from Mark. And it turns out Mark is probably one of the most relatable comic artists I've met so far. Like myself, he is a Puerto Rican artist who grew up in the Bronx and wanted to do comics from a young age. I also found out he was asked to teach at the Cuber School during the 90s. Um, However, he had to decline because, deadlines. Deadlines, again, as we've all been mentioning throughout these videos, it's a very, very real, serious thing in terms of comics. Paul, the owner of the shop, commissioned him to do a Wolverine versus Ghost Rider piece, and he did it incredibly fast. It must have been within probably 2 hours at most, I'd say. And it was a really good, tight, finished pencil piece. If somebody wanted to ink it, they would have no problem inking it. Um, and it was cool to see. It was cool to see him do this in person and live, and seeing how he does his process and how he starts his construction and how he ends with the finish. So, like, needless to say, I was pretty giddy that whole day, and I was totally inspired to get home and just draw like the night off. And something he did a couple years back was a Punisher in Space miniseries from Marvel, um, in which he painted each page that was in the comic. So I got to see some of those in person, and I've always loved painting, and I don't get to do it as often anymore. One of my commissions actually will be a painting, but at some point, hopefully in my career, I would love to do a full painted like narrative page or narrative comic, I should say. Um, I know, and he even told me like it's a long and very strenuous process, but it's something I would like to do. Um, I've seen artists like me and Aries love this guy we found on Facebook named Riccardo Federici, who's an Italian artist, and he does these highly detailed pages in first pencil and then like oil paint, acrylic, whatever, and they're really really gorgeous pages, and then seeing these pages in person that Mark did, um, it's something that I definitely want to try out myself when I'm more, I guess, at my prime, when I'm more experienced. So it was really cool to meet him, and it goes to show how much inspiration and how much you could learn from either just talking to people who work in the industry, or just going out and seeing things. Um, I because of Cubert, I can't like go to any place without seeing artwork anymore. Like I look at the environment, I see perspective, and I see how lighting affects things and how it plays with shadows and colors and stuff like that. Every day, and this is something I can't stress enough. Um, Throughout this whole docu series we're doing, study everything, everyday life. There's so much to get out from it, and draw what you see. As they say with almost everything in life, practice makes perfect. Our favorite artists, they started just like where we started. Um, Drawing in school and doing things for fun, and becomes a hobby, and then it becomes a professional career. So next week, maybe hopefully this weekend even, I'm going to try and start some more sample pages and submit those to whomever yet again. I'm anxious, as I mentioned earlier, to get back to narrative. I have like an itch for it now. I'll be posting progress and updates on that. The more I do them. So that about wraps up this episode. As I say every week, if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, feel free to leave them here. Reach out to us. Tune in once again next week for a Dropper and Aries. Ernesto, like I said earlier, should have his video done sometime, I guess, within next week. So there'll be 3, I guess. And once again, thanks everybody for all the support, and hopefully you're getting as much from this as we all are getting out of ourselves with this. So until next time, take care.